use it or lose it. That's a common phrase in today's world. But according to Jesus, you should use your gifts now because it matters for eternity. Jesus said, use your gifts. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from Matthew 25, verses 14 through 19, and we're going to be reading from the NET Bible today. Verse 14, and Jesus is talking about the kingdom here. He says, "For it is like a man going on a journey who summons his slaves and entrusted his property to them." Notice it was the man's property that he entrusted to the slaves. To one, he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The one who had received 5 talents went off right away and put his money to work and gained 5 more. In the same way, the one who had 2 gained 2 more. But the one who had received 1 talent went out and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money in it. After a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled his accounts with them. Now, we'll talk in just a moment about how those accounts were settled. But notice that what was given to these servants was the master's property. At the end of this story, when the master returned, they each had to give an account. It was his money, his gifts, not theirs. And the one who was given 5 talents, who made 5 more, he was told, "Well done. I'll give you more responsibility. Let's celebrate." And the one with 2, who made 2 more, same thing. "Well done." And the same kind of celebration. And then the one who was given 1, who hid it in the ground, well, the story was a little bit different. "You wicked and lazy servant. Why not at least put it in the bank?" And so that amount was taken from him and given to the one who had 10. And Jesus explains this going on in Matthew 25. We'll jump to verse 29 and 30. Jesus said, "To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away." And then the scary part, "Now throw this useless servant into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Now it seems pretty harsh here, a harsh punishment for actually not losing the master's money. It's not like this servant stole from the master. What he did was to do nothing. But this is a part of a series of kingdom stories where Jesus is talking about what's most important in the kingdom. And for us to really understand this, we have to understand what a talent was in this time. A talent was a huge sum of money, equal to about 6,000 denarii, which 1 denarius was the usual day's wages for a worker. So it was a lot of money. And depending on how you calculate that, each talent would be from 600,000 to a little over $1 million. So conservatively, 5 talents was probably around $3 million in our currency. 2 would be 1.2 million. But the important point here is that this huge, large amount of money wasn't theirs. It was the master's. And he expected for them to use well what they had been giving. Keeping the master's money safe wasn't the point. Investing to multiply was commended. See, the kingdom of God is God's pattern all along. The model of creation is kind after kind. Be fruitful and multiply. We are chosen to bear fruit. Jesus called us as fishers of men. He gives us the command to go make disciples, teaching them, and teaching them to obey all the things that Jesus commanded, because obedience multiplies. And when we invest our gifts and invest our obedience into the kingdom of God, the fruit grows on other people's trees. The rest of Matthew 25, Jesus gets into how if we do it for the least of these, we're actually doing it for him. And that's the final answer to whether we are using our gifts well. How are you using what God has given you? Is it multiplying for the good of others? Really, in eternal and kingdom terms, you either use it or you lose it. Jesus said, use your gifts. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really does mean a lot to me if you like it, if you share it, if you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.